Most decluttering advice tells you what to throw away. But today, we are talking about 5 ordinary things you should actually protect, and 5 hidden clutter traps that professional organizers remove from senior homes first, every single time. Not the obvious things, not broken appliances or expired food. The things hiding in plain sight that either quietly serve you or quietly drain the home around you. This is Wise Aging Seniors, a community built around living well in this season of life, creating a home that feels calm, intentional, and genuinely yours. Subscribe now and hit the bell, because what is coming on this channel over the next few weeks is going to change how you think about your space entirely. Before the first keep, here is one idea worth holding on to through the whole video, because it connects everything on both lists. The keeps all look like they should go. Outdated, worn, unnecessary. And the removes all look like they should stay. Practical, well-intentioned, useful. The entire conversation today is about learning to see past what things look like and ask what they actually do. That shift, from appearance to function, is what changes how a home feels to live in. Let's start where it matters most, with the tools that quietly protect us when we need protecting most. Keep number 1, the corded landline telephone. Most people either removed one years ago or still have one and feel quietly embarrassed about it. It looks like something from another era. And if you have been holding on to yours while wondering whether everyone else has a point, this is where most people get it wrong. During a medical emergency, a fall, a health episode, a moment where clear thinking is difficult, a corded landline works without charging, without cell signal, without a passcode. You pick it up and it works. Emergency responders consistently note that older adults living alone reach help faster when a landline is present. Cell towers also become overwhelmed during hurricanes, ice storms, and power outages. In those moments, the smartphone that works perfectly on an ordinary Tuesday becomes unreliable in ways impossible to predict until it happens. The corded phone has no conditions. It simply works. The embarrassment of still owning one is not a good enough reason to remove something that could, one day, be the most important object in the room. Keep it. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Because while we hold on to things that genuinely protect us, we also hold on to things that feel like protection but aren't. And that distinction is at the heart of the first remove. Remove number 1, wellness gadgets bought during a health scare. The foot spa, the TENS machine, the knee massager, the back cushion ordered late at night during a flare-up. Every one of these was bought with genuine intention during a real moment of pain or worry. And that intention is exactly why none of them ever gets questioned afterward. They feel medically justified. And anything that feels medically justified sits completely outside the ordinary logic of decluttering. The landline works when you need it. These items felt like they would, and then quietly stopped being used. That is the difference between real security and the feeling of it. The test is simple. When was it last actually used? Not in principle, actually used. If the honest answer requires a moment of thought, it has already stopped being a health aid. It has become a health hope. One serves the body. The other serves the anxiety. These objects deserve to be released with full acknowledgement of the intention behind them. The intention was real. The object simply did not earn a permanent place. Letting go of things that only offered the feeling of usefulness makes room for something more important. The tools that have already proven themselves in the actual daily life of this kitchen, this home, this season. Keep number 2, the single worn piece of cookware that has outlasted everything else. The cast iron skillet, the heavy ceramic dish, the stock pot bought 40 years ago, still doing exactly what it was designed to do. These get pointed at during kitchen clearouts. They look tired. But worn and proven are not the same thing. And this is where standard decluttering advice fails the kitchen completely. This particular piece, already proven in your hands, already performing exactly as needed, does not require replacing on someone else's timeline. You did not decide it was done. Someone decided it looked done. And those are not the same thing. The wellness gadget was kept because it might work someday. This pan works today. That is the only difference that matters. If it works, it works. Something that works does not need to be fixed because it no longer looks new. There is a tool that works every day. And then there is a different kind of object entirely, one that no longer works, has not been used in years, but stays anyway, because removing it feels like closing a door that should stay open. This is the second remove, and it is the one this audience tends to recognize most quietly. Remove number 2, mobility and safety, aids from a health chapter that has already ended. First, let's be completely clear. If aids are currently in use, if they serve a real ongoing need right now, they belong in the home. This is not about removing things that are doing their job. This is about the walker from a surgery 2 years ago that ended well. The shower chair from a recovery that finished. The cane from before the hip replacement. These stay not because they are needed, but because removing them feels like tempting fate. Like trusting that the difficult chapter is genuinely over is somehow naive. The cookware stayed because it earns its place every single day. These objects stay because of what the past felt like. One is serving the present. The other is holding the past in place. Professional organizers call these objects that hold fear rather than serve a function. A shower chair from a recovery that ended is not a practical object anymore. It is a quiet, daily reminder of a period of vulnerability. And that reminder has a cost that is real, even when it is hard to name. The question worth sitting with honestly is this. Is this object here because it is needed right now? Or because the chapter it came from still feels too close to close? When we release what belongs to a chapter that has ended, something shifts. The home begins to reflect the present rather than guard against the past. And from that place of clarity, there is one thing worth building, quietly, without any urgency. That will serve everyone who loves this home long after you have put the work into it. Keep number 3, a written home inventory, the notebook that knows how the house works, where the water shutoff is, which fuse controls which room, the plumber's name, the insurance policy number, the neighbor with the spare key. This is not paperwork. It is the operating manual for a home. And starting one does not need to be a project. 10 things, one plain notebook, one afternoon, somewhere findable. Think of it this way. This notebook is not just for you. It is a quiet gift to everyone who loves you. If there is ever a moment when a friend, a neighbor, or a professional needs to step in and help, this document means the home keeps running clearly without anyone having to guess, without anyone having to search, without anyone feeling lost inside a house they do not know how to read. The home carries years of accumulated knowledge, how the heating behaves in a cold snap, which drawer sticks, what the particular sound from the pipes actually means. Writing it down does not just organize the home, it protects the people who matter most to you, one of the quietest acts of care available in this season of life. keep it. Before we continue, if this is landing the way it is meant to, this is exactly what Wise Aging Seniors is built around. Not just decluttering as a task. The whole question of how we want to live in this season and what we want to leave behind us. In the best sense of that phrase. Subscribe if you have not yet. And drop a comment right now. Which of these 3 keeps do you already have? Which one are you going to start? We read every comment on this channel. 3 more to go. And the connection between the next keep and the next remove might be the most practical insight in the whole video. Now, once you have written down what the home actually needs and genuinely know what belongs, something interesting happens. You start to see clearly how much has been stored, not because it is truly needed, but because running out of it feels like a risk too large to take. Remove number 3. Bulk household supplies, bought well beyond any reasonable use, meaning products bought 3 at a time, paper towels stacked to the ceiling, 30 bars of soap. And the instinct behind this deserves respect before it is addressed, because for many older adults, it comes from a generation that experienced genuine scarcity. When stocking up was not excess, it was survival. That instinct is not irrational. It is a deeply reasonable response to real lived experience. But the written inventory already answered the fear behind the stockpile. You know what the home has. You know what it needs. The cupboard packed beyond reason is still solving a problem that the notebook has already addressed. Preparedness is a value worth keeping. Excess is the version of that value that has gone past the point of serving you. Knowing the difference and being honest about which side of that line a cupboard currently sits on is one of the clearest acts of intentional living. Intentional living is also about how clearly we can see the present moment, which brings us to a keep that almost nobody defends anymore, even though the case for it is surprisingly strong. Keep number 4, the paper wall calendar. Phone calendars are genuinely useful. That is worth acknowledging, but a visible, physical calendar, something readable from across the room without unlocking anything, supports daily orientation in a way a phone simply cannot replicate. Research into cognitive health and aging shows it reinforces routine, gives the week a shape that exists in the physical space of the home, and reduces the quiet background anxiety of not knowing where the day stands without checking a device. For anyone managing health appointments, medication schedules, and the rhythm of daily independent living, that at-a-glance visibility is not a backup system. For many people, it is genuinely the better system. Clarity in one corner of the home makes the lack of it elsewhere easier to see, which is exactly what the next remove is about. Remove number 4. Supplements and vitamins bought after a television segment, an advertisement, or a well-meaning recommendation, and never finished. First, some supplements are intentional, prescribed, consistent, with a doctor behind them. Those stay. This is not about those. This is about the other category. And most homes with a supplement cupboard have both. The vitamin D taken every morning without fail, and right next to it the turmeric capsules bought after a morning news segment, used 4 times, still sitting there 8 months later. The joint support from a difficult winter, the sleep supplement from a stressful week, each bought with real intention during a real moment of genuine concern. The calendar on the wall shows the week with complete clarity. The supplement cupboard, full of half-used bottles, does the opposite. It hides what is actually being taken behind everything that was tried once and abandoned. When everything is present, nothing is clear. The bottles that belong are the ones being taken consistently, currently, with a reason that still applies. Clearing this does not remove the health intention. It makes space for a routine that can actually be seen and followed. When the routines are clear and the home is running simply, the tools we carry every day should match that same quality. Uncomplicated, reliable, present. Keep number 5, a basic non-smart wristwatch, not a fitness tracker, not a smartwatch, a simple watch that tells the time and needs nothing beyond an occasional battery change. Smartwatches need daily charging. Phones get misplaced, and for older adults especially, the phone that cannot be found is more common than most people admit, particularly during health episodes or moments of fatigue. A simple watch on the wrist always works. It answers the most frequently needed question of any day without requiring a device, a charge, or steady hands on a small screen. For anyone managing appointments, medication timing, and daily structure, that quiet, unconditional reliability is not a small thing, a small object that serves you completely. That is all it needs to be, which makes the last remove worth examining closely, because it is almost the exact opposite. It is the experience of serving an object, of organizing your home, your storage, your sense of loyalty around something that no longer serves the life you are actually living. Remove number 5. The complete set kept whole because breaking it up feels wrong. The China service for 12 used twice a year. The matched luggage where one bag does all the traveling. The 6-piece cookware set where 2 pans do all the work. The crystal glasses lifted down perhaps twice annually. The watch earns its place every single day. These sets earn their place perhaps twice a year, and the rest of the time they wait. The rest of the time, the home works around them. The belief behind keeping these whole is quiet but real, that separating any piece is a kind of betrayal. But consider a different frame entirely. Could those unused pieces go to a grandchild setting up their first home, a younger family member, a friend's daughter, someone just starting out who would use them every single day? That is not releasing the set. That is continuing its story somewhere it will actually be lived with. And for pieces where that is not possible, keeping the 2 that genuinely serve daily life and releasing the 10 that are waiting for occasions that come less and less. That is not disrespect. It is deciding clearly that this home belongs to the life being lived in it now, not the life planned for it 30 years ago. What we keep and what we release are both decisions. And most of us have homes full of things we never consciously chose. Things that arrived, were placed somewhere, and stayed because nothing ever actively moved them on. Inertia is not a choice, but it shapes a home as powerfully as any deliberate decision. The keeps all looked wrong and worked anyway. The removes all looked right and stopped working long ago. Every keep on this list serves the life you are living right now. Every remove was serving something else, a fear, a hope, a past chapter, an obligation, a version of the future that kept not arriving. The home does not care what things look like. It only reflects what is actually there and whether the person living in it chose it. If something in this video helped you see your space a little differently today, share it with someone who might need it, and leave a comment. Which one of those 10 stopped you? Which one are you finally ready to look at honestly? We read every single one. If you are new here, welcome. Wise Aging Seniors is for those of us who believe that living well in this season means living with clarity, with calm, and with the quiet confidence of knowing what belongs. Subscribe if you have not yet. We will see you in the next one.